Good morning. It's Market Day Report. We're glad you're with us. We're in Nashville today, but in Arlington, Virginia, USDA's Ag Outlook Forum is set to begin here pretty quick. And when it does, we'll get a little better idea of what USDA is projecting for 2026. And I say that because they've already released their numbers. They'll just officially say the words a little later. Let's go to the corn market and see if we're seeing any reaction, and not really. 425 on the March, down a couple of pennies. New crop at 459 3/4. It's down 1 1/4 cents. Our next guest will help us break down some of these numbers. Bean numbers, well, we're 1 1/4 higher on the May at 11.50 1/4. And we're lower on some of the deferreds here, so not a whole lot of movement right out of the gate. How about the wheat market? Look at this. We're moving higher for the second straight session. 566 in Chicago on July. That's up 6 1/4. Hard red is moving up 6, 580 1/4 on that July. And the cotton market. Cotton a little bit higher, but still 61-cent cotton on the March. 63 on the May, and 68 on the D's. He's in Dodge City with EmpowerAg Trading. It's Brady Huck. All right, Brady, numbers out from the Ag Outlook Forum. Any surprises for you?
Well, I like getting these numbers, and we're excited to see the outlook numbers come out and talk about them. I guess the biggest surprise, corn acres pulled back a little bit more than the average trade guess. So that's a little bit supportive. The production, really fell on corn. Total corn production figures dropped about 1.2 billion bushels, and they kept usage really strong in their projections. So that tightens ending stocks going forward. Would like to see the corn market reacting a little bit stronger today, being down 2 cents right now, but I guess it is what it is. So bean acres, up 3.8 million. The big surprise to me, though, Tony, you like to talk about cotton, and they actually increased cotton acres. So that's kind of a head scratcher to me. I know the National Cotton Council had a survey out just a few days ago looking for 9 million acres of cotton, and the Outlook Forum prints a 9.4, actually 0.1 million acres more than a year ago.
And I'm glad you mentioned cotton. How about the 60% increase in extra long staple, or what we call Pima cotton, which has really caught on because of what you can get on the loan rate. And so you can't necessarily make it win when you look at the price on the board. You have to be creative. Are you seeing that more and more from producers looking at creative ways to go ahead and cash flow this year?
Anytime you get in a tight margin scenario, you're looking for creative solutions to get you out. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of Pima cotton. I love wearing it. It's really soft and a great product here produced in America. So good to see any American product seeing an increase there, too. I think the other thing weighing on our grains right now is just March option expiration. We got that tomorrow, and producers have decisions to make if they've got basis contracts. Do I roll? They may be forced to roll going forward. So seasonally, some kind of natural selling pressure as we get into this first notice day option expiration. A lot to chew on in your grain markets here, Tony.
Speaking of expiration, we're set to expire a cattle contract, live cattle contract, next week. So how about we take a break? We'll come back and talk more about that with Brady Huck. This is Market Day Report. So cash trade, again, we're waiting to see what happens. The fact that we get a cattle on feed report tomorrow after the close, 3 p.m. Eastern, it's not really uncommon for that cash trade to develop after that. Well, we'll see what happens. Right now, February live cattle just stuck. Nickel now 7 cents lower, 246.52. Imagine this will be a fairly tight trade range. Again, this one is set to expire next week. More on that in a moment. April down 22, 242.30. It's the most active. Here are feeders to start the day. A little bit higher, up 37 on the front month, 370.95. And the hogs, can we make it 3 in a row? Well, we start off kind of slow this morning. down 15 on the April, 32 lower on the May, and 2 cents lower on the June. Brady Huck is with EmpowerAg in Dodge City. All right, we expire that contract this next week. We don't really see convergence, though, when we're talking about live cattle, do we?
Yeah, that live cattle contract doesn't always converge like we want it to or like we think it should. So, but I think, yeah, we're going to be watching the cash trade here after that cattle on feed report and anything going into the cattle on feed report coming up. Cash was strong last week, and there's anticipation that cash is going to continue to be strong. So, but if you see strong cash and you don't see an increase in box beef values, that pushes these packer margins further into the red. Box beef has been a little softer here this week, in that mid 360 area, holding some of that weakness led by the Chuck Primal, which accounts for about 30% of the value of the cutout. Light slaughter, though, is certainly providing some support to the cutout, as seasonally it's just a weak time for the cutout. So we need to see, once we get into April, May, June, what does this cutout do and how will that impact the cattle market? I think a lot of people are waiting to see how we get out of that into that time frame. So the other thing, on the cattle front, weights have backed off with the cold snap, and that's given the feed yards lots of leverage here, and helping keep that cash strong and firm, Tony.
Okay. Also, at the Ag Outlook Forum, USDA on the livestock side, 108.4 billion pounds for red meat and poultry production this year. That would be a 1% year-over-year increase. They say the cattle herd should shrink to about 86.2 million. Fed cattle prices 240, 364 on the feeders. You kind of in that camp as well?
I haven't dove into that side of the report, but cow slaughter, what that looks like going forward, herd expansion, proteins are a big thing right now, and it's great to see proteins being on top. So,
okay, you're in Dodge City. That's southwestern Kansas. Have you escaped the wildfires that came through? Was all of that pretty much south of you?
Yeah, Dodge City, Southwest Kansas, that's home for me, but have a lot of friends and family down in the Ashland community area, Protection, Coldwater, just that south central Kansas, northern Oklahoma, and just prayers for everyone out there that's been impacted by the fires. Lots of brave people are out there fighting the fires. Lots of community support goes into this. It's really all hands on deck when this happens. And these types of events and tragedies, they really highlight the strength of rural communities out there. So lots of volunteers running on little to no sleep. They're caretakers for the American cow herd, livestock out there. And, they manage and assess risk and where can they make the most immediate impact? What's the most pressing thing to tackle, and try to just do what they can in these tough situations. So it takes lots of grit and bravery. It's just a different breed of people out here in America's heartland. And sometimes tragedies like this kind of bring us closer together.
Hey, Brady, I hope you don't mind me asking. I think there's one family that has actually been hit twice now by wildfires. Can you share anything on that?
Right. Yeah. Gardner Angus Ranch is Ashland, Kansas, and huge in the cattle business in the Angus breed. And just, they got hit hard in 2017, and I think they got hit hard again here in this last fire. So a little too close to home, 9 years. It just doesn't seem fair to get hit twice in that time span. If you want to help, if you want to do something, the KLA, Kansas Livestock Association, you can get on there and make some donations there. Ashland Community Foundation, Ashland Feed and Seed. The biggest help, I think, going forward is going to be hay supplies, fencing supplies down the road, and certainly prayers every day to heal and recover.
And before we go, that region all the way down into, the South Plains of Texas was ground zero for the Dust Bowl. And we think the Dust Bowl was really years ago, and it was, but the winds haven't changed any. So the winds that you were experiencing the other day, same winds that they were experiencing back then. Just a gentle reminder that nature still has the upper hand.
They certainly do, Tony.
Brady, great to see you. Thanks for your time. Brady Huck with us from EmpowerAg